Okay, good morning, folks, and a Happy New Year to you. I'm Jaden, your first officer. I was the one taking your tickets at the top of the ramp. Everything on my narration is going to primarily be on the starboard side. All my land lovers out there, that is the right side of the ship if you're facing the front. Coming up first, we're passing the Maritime Museum of San Diego. Now, this is a collection of ships and exhibits available for daily public tours. Star of India is that large ship with the red stripe at the bottom. She's the world's oldest active iron-hulled sailing ship, built in 1863. She's made 21 circumnavigations of the globe under her own sailing power. Still goes out once a year for the Tall Ship Parade, run by a crew of volunteers. HMS Surprise is a replica of an 18th century Royal Navy frigate, and she's a movie star, folks. That's right, you didn't have to go to Hollywood to find a movie star here. She is featured in the motion picture Master and Commander, Far Side of the World with Russell Crowe, and she played a part in the Pirates of the Caribbean series. Now, for first turning into a submarine, this is the Cobra, a Soviet submarine, commissioned in the early 1970s, and that large white boxy ship behind us, that's the Berkeley, a steam ferry boat operated for 60 years on the San Francisco Bay. Folks, to the left of the Maritime Museum, look to the left, you'll see more white boats. That's Hornblower Pier 1. The reason I bring it up, we do nightly dinner cruises with DJs, but my personal favorite, if you're a fan of mimosas like I am, come check us out on a Sunday, bottomless mimosas, full buffet. Delicious spread, and you can't beat bottomless mimosas out here on the bay. Another collection of boats that we're passing right here. These small boats, this is called a mooring field. There are 4 in San Diego, this one being the largest. All owners live on board. They pay $170 a month to moor here. Pretty cheap rep for San Diego, but it comes at a different expense. There are 0 amenities for them. No running water, no electricity. Those tiny little boats behind their boat, it's called a dinghy. That's how they get to and from land. Off in the distance, we're going to be passing a white building that says Fly USCG. That's our Coast Guard station. Coast Guard station stands by 24/7 for search and rescue, mostly recreational boaters in distress, cruise medevacts, and of course they're there to help enforce our maritime law. We have a saying out here on the water: for buildings over the water, it's probably a restaurant. That's exactly what we have on our right side. 3 different restaurants. Costero's, the one with the blue umbrellas, fine dining Mexican cuisine, personally my favorite. Went there a few weekends ago. They had live music on the patio, so check it out on this weekend. In the middle of that is a tiny little patio that's called Sea Level. It's a little bit more of an affordable fine dining. And to the left is Island Prime. Now, if you're a fan of expensive fish, I highly recommend that restaurant. All 3 are great views, good atmosphere, beautiful views of the city. And if you see a boat this close to the building, it is probably Captain Roy, so you want to give him a big wave when you have dinner over there. For everyone outside on the sky deck, take a look directly behind us. You have a beautiful view of the San Diego City skyline. Now as we come around, I pointed out on our way in again, so if you're not outside, that's okay. You have an entire hour, and we'll bring it back up to the bow. But while you're out there, take a look back there. It's Captain Roy's favorite view of the city, so I was pointed out. And if you look to the left of the city, you're going to see airplanes coming in for a landing throughout our cruise. San Diego International Airport. Lindbergh Field, named after Charles A. Lindbergh. In 1927, he completed the first ever solo, non-stop transatlantic flight in his Spirit of St. Louis from New York to Paris, France. And the reason we asked Mr. Lindbergh to use his name for the airport is because his plane, Spirit of St. Louis, was built right here in San Diego. On any given day, an average of 50,000 passengers arrive or depart from our airport, featuring one single runway. Now, this happens to be the busiest single runway in the United States. 9,400 feet long and 200 feet wide. Lindbergh Field serves an average of 20 million passengers per year. Back where I first mentioned Island Prime and Costera, that was the beginning of Harbor Island. Although not an actual island, it's a man-made T-shaped peninsula made from the materials dredged from the bottom of the San Diego Bay. Created in 1961, you can drive out to Harbor Island directly across from Terminal 1 from the airport. Harbor Island is home to several fine dining restaurants, 5 major boat marinas with well over 2,000 private yachts. So look over to the right side, right beyond the palm trees, you can see those white masts. That's part of those 2,000 private yachts all along Harbor Island. There are benches along the coastline, great views of the city, and turnarounds with free 3-hour parking. That's right. We all know how hard parking is here in San Diego, especially downtown, so come on over to Harbor Island. Right here along the water, you get turnarounds with free 3-hour parking. Although if you test your luck and you stay more than 3 hours, it turns into a $60 spot, so be careful. San Diego Bay has 25 miles of shoreline, is 12 miles long, and ranges from a half a mile to almost 2 miles wide. San Diego Bay is an area of over 10,000 acres of water, and this creates unique habitat for the wildlife out here. In fact, many of the plants and animals found here exist nowhere else. San Diego County is home to more endangered species than any other county in the United States, and the Bay alone is home to over 600 species of fish, birds, and mammals. This includes a family of green sea turtles that migrate in and out of the bay. So keep your eyes on the water because you never know what kind of wildlife we're going to find out here. Directly off to our right side, we have another building over the water, and that is in fact another restaurant. It's Tom Ham's Lighthouse. Now it's a nautical themed restaurant, and it has a working navigational aid on top. There's a light that flashes every 4 seconds with the proper direction and intensity as outlined by the U.S. Coast Guard regulations. Because of this, it's included on all local and navigational charts. So folks, if you're visiting San Diego and you want to go on an offshore fishing trip, I'm going to show you where to go. Right here off to our right, you have a lot of boats in this little cove or inlet that is not part of those 2,000 private yachts. I believe this is still called America's Cup Harbor, and this harbor is one of the world's largest sport fishing fleets. You can board a boat for a half day or a full day. They have longer range boats, may be gone for several days or weeks at a time. And some fish they look to catch offshore range from halibut, tuna, marlin,